Hello and welcome to this Office Workstation Ergonomic Evaluation. This presentation will explore the findings and recommendations of this assessment. To introduce myself, my name is Sarah Ganser. I am currently studying a Bachelor of Health Science, majoring in Occupational Health and Safety and a minor in Health Promotion at Edith Cowan University. The purpose of this evaluation is to observe an employee in their usual office work environment while undertaking an ergonomic assessment. From the ergonomic assessment, findings and recommendations will be provided to the clients for an ergonomically friendly workspace. The ergonomic assessment chosen to be used in this study is called a computer workstation self-assessment and was obtained from the University of Melbourne. The client being assessed is a bookings administrator from the Australian Transit Group called Cassie. Cassie has given her appropriate consent for this assessment to be undertaken. We will now explore the findings of the ergonomic checklist. For your reference, please refer to Appendix 3 for the completed checklist. We'll first start by exploring the issues identified from the current chair being used. A few of the main risks identified include that the client is using a slouching posture with elbows hanging off the desk while at the workstation, that the current office chair does not support the client's body shape overall, and also that the chair does not support the S-curve of the spine and other joints. We'll now move on by exploring the issues identified from the current desk being used. A few of the main issues identified include that the client doesn't currently have access to a sit and stand desk, only a sit desk. This is an issue when the client spends an 8-hour working day sitting down at the desk with infrequent breaks. Safe Work Australia states there is no clear definition of excessive occupation sitting exposure. However, sitting for longer than 30 minutes without a mini break and sitting all day at work are likely to be detrimental to your health. Excessive sitting contributes to a number of negative health effects because there is insufficient movements from the body, there is insufficient muscle activity in the body is not moving around to pump around blood flow, and the body's posture is not being changed regularly enough to loosen joints and muscles. For a detailed explanation of the findings from the computer monitor, please see the PowerPoint presentation slides. We will now move on by exploring the issues identified from the current keyboard being used. A few of the main issues include when typing, the client tends to rest their wrists on the desktop or the keyboard for support. This can be an issue when typing on a keyboard is a highly repetitive movement. Also found, they were leaning on the desktop as you type, place the wrist in an awkward posture as it completes a repetitive movement. Overall, stress and irritation is increased for tendons and tendon sheaths when the wrist is placed in an awkward posture, increasing the risk of injury. We will now move on by exploring the issues from the current mouse being used. A few main issues include when navigating the mouse, the client is using the incorrect posture to hold and move the mouse. This includes that their elbows are not close to the body, the forearms are leaning heavily on the desk, the wrist is used to navigate the mouse rather than whole arm movements, and the middle finger doesn't maintain a straight line with the forearm. Using the computer mouse with an awkward posture as it completes a repetitive movement highly increase the risk of an MSD disorder. Repetitive use of the same movements causes inflammation and damage to the soft tissues, including the muscles, nerves, tendons, and tendon sheaths. We will now move on by exploring the issues identified from the current desktop items. A few of the main issues identified include that when the client is required to answer the phone, it is more than an arm's reach away. This causes excessive repetitive reaching and can lead to muscle fatigue, muscle strain, or the risk of developing an MSD disorder. Repetitive reaching can affect numerous parts of the body, including tendons and muscles of the fingers, hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders, back, and the neck. The Better Health Channel states symptoms can include pain, muscle weakness, swelling, numbness, and restricted mobility of the joints. We'll now move on by exploring the issues identified from the physical environment. A few of the major issues found include The client has numerous loose cable cords under the workstation. The cords seem to be pushed out of the way, but to occasionally get caught under the client's chair. There is also an increased risk of the client tripping over these cords and resulting in a fall when leaving the workstation. According to the Department of Mines, Industry Regulation and Safety, trips are caused by an individual's footwear being caught by something when moving, and a fall occurs when an individual cannot correct their posture after a trip. This is a serious hazard, as 20% of lost time injuries in the workplace account from slips, trips, or falls. As we have now finished discussing the findings of the ergonomic checklist, we will now discuss the recommendations to achieve an ergonomic-friendly workplace. The first recommendation would be for an ergonomic office chair. The specific chair that has been recommended is from ErgoLink. The chair is called the Bodyline Plush High Back. For the product code, please see on the slides. This recommendation is supported by Safe Work Australia's Managing the Work Environment and Facilities Code of Practice 2011. The Code of Practice states, workers should be provided with seating that provides good body support, especially for the lower back. The second recommendation will be on training for correct sitting posture. For a detailed recommendation, please have a look at the PowerPoint presentation slides. The third recommendation will be on training for setting the chair to the correct height for the client. For a detailed recommendation, please look at the PowerPoint slides. The fourth recommendation will be for a footrest. A footrest has been provided to the client. Please refer to the after images of the office workstation. Safe Work Australia states that when seated, workers should be provided with foot support. This includes having both feet flat on the floor, although if the client's feet do not sit flat on the floor, a footrest should be provided. This recommendation supports the Code of Practice Managing the Work Environment and Facilities. The fifth recommendation will be for regular breaks. The Department of Mines, Industry Regulation and Safety Western Australia states frequent short breaks, which can include walking to the printer or walking to a colleague's desk instead of calling, to give the muscles a chance to recover. This is more beneficial for the body to recover rather than longer, infrequent breaks. It is recommended to incorporate some sort of exercise into the 30-minute lunch break. This can include a 5 to 10 minute walk around the block to stretch your muscles and increase blood flow. The sixth recommendation will be for a sit and stand desk. The sit and stand desk recommended is the Winston Sit and Stand Desk Large from Officeworks. Please see the slides for the product code. This recommendation is supported by Safe Work Australia's Managing the Work Environment and Facilities Code of Practice 2011. The Code of Practice states there should be a mix of seated and standing tasks. Neither prolonged sitting nor standing is desirable. Based on the client's workstation, the following reorganisation is suggested. In the primary work zone, the mouse, keyboard, water bottle, rates booklet, other essential paperwork and pens should be located. In the secondary work zone, the computer monitors and phone should be located. Then, in the reference zone, the printer should be located. The eighth recommendation will be for a higher laptop stand. The recommended laptop stand is the Kensington Adjustable Laptop Stand with SmartFit from Officeworks. Please see the slides for the product code. This recommendation is supported by Safe Work Australia's Managing the Work and Facilities Code of Practice. According to WorkSafe Queensland, computer monitors should be positioned with the top of the monitor at the same level or slightly below the eye level. Currently, the top of the client's monitor is in line with her nose. The ninth recommendation will be regarding the glare to the computer monitor. For a detailed recommendation, please have a look at the PowerPoint presentation slides. The 10th recommendation will be for repositioning the monitors for equal use. For a detailed recommendation, please have a look at the PowerPoint presentation slides. The 12th recommendation will be for a keyboard wrist pad. The item recommended is the J. Burrows Gel Keyboard Wrist Rest from Officeworks. Please see the slides for the product code. This recommendation is supported by Safe Work Australia's Managing the Work Environment and Facilities Code. This is by providing good body support. Benefits of using a keyboard wrist pad will reduce the stress put on tendons from awkward postures and bends. Currently, the client is resting her wrist on the keyboard and the computer desk, causing unnecessary stress to the tendons in the wrist. The 13th recommendation will be for using the correct mouse posture. According to the computer workstation checklist used for this assessment, published by the University of Melbourne, the correct mouse posture includes having your shoulders relaxed, elbows close to the side of the body, forearm lightly supported on the desk, wrist still not moving from side to side, middle finger maintained in a straight line with the forearm, and circular, smooth, whole arm movements. Using this posture will help to reduce extra stress on the wrist tendons. The 14th recommendation will be for eliminating cable trip hazards. Recommended from Officeworks is the wrapped up cord concealer mesh. Please see the slides for the product code. The code of practice states, work areas should be designed to provide sufficient clear space between furniture, fixtures and fittings so that workers can move about freely without strain or injury and also evacuate quickly in the case of an emergency. This recommendation will aim to eliminate the risk of trips caused by exposed cables around the workstation. The 15th recommendation will be for stretchers. This recommendation is supported by Safe Work Australia's Managing the Work Environment and Facilities Code of Practice 2011 by providing good body support. It is recommended to break up the day and incorporate some of the below stretches to keep muscles from feeling sore and tight. Please see Appendix 1 for the before images of the office workstation. Then please see Appendix 2 for the after images of the office workstation. Finally, please see Appendix 3 for the completed ergonomic checklist. And in conclusion, I would like to thank you for listening and I hope you all enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.